Southeast football and the John Mumford Show.
The John Mumford Show is brought to you in part by Prairie Inn, McDowell Motors South, River Eagle Distributing, who bring you Budweiser, McDowell Motors Perryville, the Cape Girardeau Chamber of Commerce, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Kerber, Eck and Breckel, Shivelbines, Orthopedics Associates, Daniel Safety Management, Soskin Toyota, Farm Bureau Insurance Services of Poplar Bluff, and Plaza Tire.
The Southeast Missouri State Football Indians took on an old MIAA rival now in the Gateway Conference, the Bears of Southwest Missouri State. All things indicated to a big Bears win, but the Indians shocked the Bears. The final was 28-23. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Rushton, along with the head coach of the Football Indians, John Mumford. And, Coach, congratulations on the best game of the year so far.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. It's a long time coming. Very happy for the kids and particularly the seniors and all the coaches. Totally different atmosphere in the locker room after the game, and group of young men that very proud of. They've shown a great deal of character all year, and I think that you know, it finally paid off, and their persistence and sticking to it. You know, the guys that have stayed around have you know, reaped the rewards, and we did that yesterday against you know, couldn't have been sweeter against an in-state rival. Unfortunately, it didn't count in the conference standings at this point, but anytime you can get on top of Southwest Missouri, I think it's tremendous, and we're really, really pleased with the effort of our football team.
Coach, last year this is a team that beat you, I believe, 45-8 was the final at their place. A couple of big plays for them. Yesterday, you guys got the big plays for a change.
We did, and they came in on the run and through the pass, quarterback scrambling around, and you know, I really have to say this. I think I've kind of maligned our offensive line here for the last 2 years, and I'm real proud of those guys. I thought they really stepped up yesterday in run game and pass protection. You or I could have stood back there a few times and threw the ball, Chris. The quarterbacks had that much time. And, you know, those guys really have, the last 2 weeks, their performance, has, in my estimation, has been outstanding, and finally realizing their potential. And a lot of that offensively, I think, a lot of our offensive success yesterday, it all starts right up front, and those kids played their hearts out.
Talking about playing your hearts out, it takes heart to win a football game, but also you said the persistence. Just stay with it, guys. Stay with it. Stay with it. It paid off in a big way yesterday.
It did. It couldn't, like I said, it couldn't happen to a better group of young men, and you know, we haven't won this year like we thought we could, and certainly like we're capable of, but however, you know, there are lessons to be learned down the road, and they're painful ones until yesterday. And I think that you know, you go through a football season like the early half, like we have, Chris, and then stick with it and pull out a big one like this. You know, it won't compare to some of the tough times these kids are going to face, you know, in their future life. There are going to be a lot more important things than a football game. But you know, I firmly believe this helps prepare them for those things, and you know, the payoff was real sweet yesterday.
Folks, we got some great highlights to show you. Stay with us. This was a good football game. We'll have all the highlights. Stay with us. You're watching The John Mumford Show. The Indians hooking up in their 67th career meeting with an old MIAA foe, the Bears of Southwest Missouri. Southeast has not won against Southwest Missouri since 1979, Coach. A lot of the kids probably don't remember the MIAA days, the rivalry that used to be between these two teams, but it was very, very big.
It always is. I think, you know, the rivalry part in the past histories for our alum and former players, our present-day players, Chris, are just OVC oriented, and we talked about it a little bit at the first of the week about the rivalry. Then at the end of the week, you know, we said, hey, you know, for us right now, we just need to win. You know, for us, nobody else, but for the people involved in this program, present day. Had a nice little motivational tool sent to me. Mike Ritchie had some copies of SMS poster this year. Had a picture of Bobby Bruni laying on the ground, sacked with the ball rolling out, and Corky Martin standing over him. And we kind of passed that around, and the team, and had a little poster child, man-child theme this week, and toward the end of the week. And, you know, I don't know if it was that, but I think it's mostly they were just fed up with losing, and finally went out and, through execution, you know, won the football game. And as I said earlier, I thought we did some real good things up front offensively and defensively, and that's where I really feel we won it. I know that everybody was excited about the performance of Rashad West, and he is an exciting football player. And you know, I'm sure that you know, when he has his hands on the ball, you know, things tend to happen.
An intangible thing is the feeling that, hey, we can win, hey, we are going to win. But at some point during that game yesterday, I felt it from the PA booth, there was a switch that went on in your team.
Well, I think so. When that was, you know, we came out and moved the ball real effectively in the first quarter and didn't finish in the end zone. We talked about finishing on the sideline. And then, you know, Rashad came in, and Rashad's a guy that can take a bad play and because of his athleticism and turn it into a very good play. He understands our offense fully now, I believe. His arm was somewhat sore after the two-a-days, and that took a while. And you know, he's really got his feet on the ground with the offense. And right now, as a quarterback, he gives you option. He gives you quarterback draw. All of our quarterbacks can do that, and we're still going to be competitive at quarterback. All three of the young men, Bobby Bruni and Michael Gross, have contributed to this football team and will continue to do so. And you know, Rashad West just came in and kind of lit the fire and got going. And you know, a guy like that back there can make your offensive lineman feel at ease a little bit, maybe make him relax a little bit because of his escape dimension. And you know, I just wish he'd tuck the ball in a little bit more as he's running the ball. But truly an effective player that can take a bad play and turn it into a good one.
Crowd of about 3,600 on hand yesterday at Houck Stadium. 45 degrees, a little nippy outside, Coach. It's football weather.
No question. It was a great day. You know, it was kind of eerie during the course of the game. You know, our middle of our field's worn out from the Tech game, and there was always just a little cloud of dust around, so that the 3 yards in a cloud of dust theme kind of ran through, but we combined some big plays in. You see a great job by our offensive line giving Bobby protection, and I thought Bobby showed a lot of poise here. He stood tall in the pocket and searched the field and finally found a receiver. There you got KD Koleosho running on the counter, and we ran our counter play real well yesterday, Chris, and that opened up the counter pass where we got a lot of yards, particularly rushing. Again, good poise, good protection, good poise, good job by the receivers coming back to the football. And here you see Rashad in motion right there, and we're going to run the screen right here. Great job by Gerald Hewling, feeling that pressure coming inside out, and they ran him out, and Gerald does the Green Bay leap into the stands, and they got a penalty for it, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that moved us down. But I really thought our play calling was excellent, and we had a good variety on first down. I just thought that you know, the offense was very unpredictable yesterday.
You talked about finishing in the end zone. This is one of those instances, Coach. You get it down to the 8-yard line and unable to come away with any points.
Yeah, we did, and here we didn't handle the blitz very well, and they sacked us. And you know, this was well within Seth's range. He just, you know, didn't get all of it. The snap was a little bit behind Andy, Chris, but you know, Seth is capable. He had a 56-yarder strong in practice the other day. And I think, you know, he's improving as a kicker, and just missed that one. And great penetration by our defense there. And, you know, I thought our defense was I put them in some situations yesterday going forward on fourth down at midfield that I thought they rallied from and did a good job. Could have made the score a little worse as far as, you know, giving SMS good field position. But in all, we had guys really step up yesterday, and I was very proud. You see James Jeanette with good penetration right there. And great job taking out the interference. I believe that may have been, I don't know who that was on the corner, maybe Andre Clark or somebody taking out the interference and allowing the defenders to rally to the ball.
Coach, were you surprised that Southwest tried to run the ball at the first part of the game?
Not at all. They're a different team than they were last year. See, Rashad West is in the game. He throws a slant. I believe that's down to Leslie Weaver or Corey Chester. And no, Chris, they're more of a physical, we're going to come at you team under Randy Ball than they were under Del Miller. And we knew that they were going to probably try to line up and run the football. That's what they've done to everybody else this year.
Coach, your offensive line coach there, really kind of putting a charge into his team.
Coach Hudson's very animated. He gets after him and does a great job. And, you know, here you go. You see what happens right there. And, you know, that guy thought he had Rashad and probably was looking in his hands. And, you know, that's the young man is slippery indeed, and he's got a great sense for it. We run quarterback draw right here, and that's what I'm talking about, that ball coming out. But Rashad did recover his own fumble and get it. But you can see how elusive the young man is, and really puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
20 carries on the day. Now, a lot of those carries were attributed to him at the end of the game whenever you were taking a knee at the end of the game to expire the clock. But still yet, 97 yards on the day. It would have been well over 100. And another thing, whenever you have Rashad back there, the defense had to play a lot more honest. They had to keep a linebacker in the pocket. That opened up the passing lanes.
Yeah, it does. And what it does, too, Chris, when you have a quarterback that's able to carry the ball, it evens out the numbers. They can't stack 8 or 9 men in on you and you know, load it up and outnumber you at the line of scrimmage. Here they come on blitz, and the guys, we almost get through there. We didn't handle the penetration a little bit, but they came through, and I believe we're going to come up right here on 4th in about 2 feet. And I thought this was a great call by Steve Schottel. We ran the bootleg and totally confused Southwest Missouri State, and Rashad had an easy walk in for the touchdown.
This made the score after the extra point by Seth Carrier at 9-7.
Yeah, it did, and you saw, I think you're going to see out here on the perimeter right there, Leslie Weaver tying the guy up and making a great perimeter. That's a touchdown block, and you know, allows Rashad just to coast into the end zone, and allows us to get on the board. A great 4th down call.
See Carrier kicking off. The wind was against him right here, Coach.
It was. That's designed to go out, and we kick it in the middle. We missed tackle after tackle on this play, and you know, this is where we had some momentum, and great tribute to Southwest Missouri. They did a nice job, you know, getting the ball back down and go in here and score. And those things, you know, we got to execute better on the kickoff coverage, and then get the kick where it's supposed to be, Chris.
Coach, maybe a little bit earlier in the year, your team might shut down a little bit right here, but it looked like after they saw him put in this score, hey, we're coming right back at you.
No, I think, you know, they understand what they need to do, and they understand that, you know, what they're capable of, and you win a game like this, and you know, you get that confidence rolling downhill and snowballing, and we intend to keep it going with their players. 16
the score after this, and then here's what I'm talking about, playing a minus. That's going to open up Andy Dunaway, probably secondary receiver there.
Yep, Andy came in, looked like on a curl or square in, and caught the ball real well. Again, you know, you have to take note of the protection was excellent to allow the route to come open. Here we run counter and keep it, and I believe Rashad's going to run this one. You know, he has the option of throwing to a flat or keeping the ball on that, and one time he tried to hit the post deep. Great block by Broderick Benson, and we get KD loose down on the sideline, and you see his speed right there, and you know, you see Leslie Weaver again downfield on blocking, and that's one thing, the little things, Chris. Receivers blocking downfield, that was executed pretty well yesterday.
KD Koliosho, 15 carries, 74 yards. Ricky Smith, 15 carries, 37 yards. Your team ran for 201 yards on the day.
They did, and I think we threw for about 220 or 230, so we had excellent balance in our offense yesterday, and you know, it kept SMS off balance. And again, good protection.
How's he get Houdini?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's just things happen when he's in there, Chris, and for the most part, they're good. So, if we're going to show our touchdown coming up right here, I believe we call a timeout and talk this deal over. We're going to run off tackle, and if we do show it, I want everybody to watch a block by Broderick Benson, because he just trucks one of their defensive players and allows KD to walk in. And I'm very, very proud of Broderick. Broderick's been an effective runner, and this year he has really concentrated on his blocking, and you know, that shows a lot of unselfishness for him to do that. And
now watch the fullback right here. Is what Coach is talking about.
Right. Bang! Right there, and the guy's on his back, and just allows KD to walk. Chris, I think you could have got through that hole. So it
must have been wide.
A lot of fun, and those are the little things that I think that. You know, I'm telling KD, go tell Broderick, great block, and got everybody fired up right there. And great support on both sides. The defense was cheering the offense and back and forth, and you know, total team effort by our players. Going to half down 2, thought we were in fine shape, and I thought, and we knew we were going to get the ball in the second half. We start the second half out with a key touchdown drive.
We will show you that touchdown drive as we continue. Stay with us, folks. You're watching The John Mumford Show. Indians will be on the road this week. They will take on the Skyhawks of UT Martin. 1 o'clock is the kickoff in Martin, Tennessee, coming up this Saturday. Yesterday's game, a big win for the Indians over the Bears of Southwest Missouri State. Coach, you go into the half only down by 2. But you could see the feeling on the sideline going into halftime. Saw Levinus, a couple of the other defensive guys coming over and say, hey, that away, guys. Way to pick us up here.
Yeah, they were really pumping everybody up. And, you know, again, the thing started to fester. The only injury we had yesterday at right last play of the half, Chad King dislocated a finger, and it was like, you know, I saw this commotion out of our student trainers. I thought we had a cold blue or something, but it was just a finger, and Chad came back, and he was not able to do our short snapping on field goal and extra point in the second half, and we had another true freshman, Ryan Roth, step in there and do a great job as far as the snapping. So Chad came back and played the second half, and you know, we were able to keep it going. Let's go ahead and roll those second half highlights. And Coach, you had some great drives in this game yesterday. The first touchdown with Rashad West in there goes 80 yards. This one, you get the ball on the 31. This is the second play of the drive. We're going to see Koliosho go over the left side here. Right. Again, good blocking out front. We stretch him, and Broderick gets a good block again in there. And, you know, it's a 4-yard gain. And, you know, we ran 85 plays and average 5 yards a carry. Rashad keeps on the option, and again gives us another weapon in there offensively, and to help us expand our offense. You had an 18-yard pass from West to Dunaway that wasn't able. They didn't get it on the tape yesterday afternoon, but again he's going to hit Andy Dunaway coming up on this play. Good protection again, hits Andy. Andy's going to get a few yards after the catch, and you know, fight for that. Here we run our zone play to the fullback, and on a 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5, and just mash him off the ball. And you see Kiefer had his knee in the middle of that guy's back, but you know, again, guys did a super job coming off. Here we're going to run it again in there and get a few hard yards with Broderick. He's just got to stay in there and cram the ball up in there. Now the fullback right there, they're respecting the run up the middle. You run the little play action pass play here. That's going to release John Bourne. Touchdown, Southeast Missouri again. You don't know unless you were down on the field right there how good a pass that was when you're running forward to the left, and you saw where John had a defender right in front of him. Rashad just laid it up with a lot of touch, Chris, and that was just a tremendous pass. Here we go with Ricky Smith. Ricky plants his foot and cuts up for probably looks about 6-7 yards. You just put in a drive of 81, or check that, 79 yards, 69 yards on the drive before. You get this one on the 20. This is the second offensive possession of the second half. Another big drive. Yep, good job by Rashad scrambling out. Again, the protection was pretty good. We had a good downfield block again by Leslie Weaver. Here we come on our power play, and just got to run it straight up there. You see Ricky pounding his fist, and we're going north and south on him, and I thought we ran the ball very effectively. Here we come on the counter pass again, and Rashad moving the ball down the field. Boy, everything looks to be going in high gear right now, and we could see over on the sidelines, Southwest Missouri, the coaches and the players were kind of shaking their head. Well, that's, again, that's what good balance offensively, and thought our screen game has really come on. We throw the screen to Devery Flint right there, Chris, and he gets good yardage on it. Good cut by Ricky up there, and you know, you just see us a hair off at times from breaking 1 or 2 arm tackles to, you know, making big plays even bigger. Tell you what, the team was snuffed out right there on a 4th and 1, but the defense comes up big here again for you. Yeah, the defense came in, and they go on 4th down right here. I believe they may have been a little bit short on this one. I'm not for sure, but I guess not. They come out and had good pressure. They come back with the draw, and we had some good minus yardage plays yesterday, Chris, in key situations where, you know, guys just pin their ears back, and right calls at the right time, get a little pressure on right there. And it's kind of ironic. I told Andre Clark, I said, you're going to get one and go the distance this week, and I don't know if he believed me or not. I think this happened a couple times. What they did, we had a lead blocker with Chad William, and then the offensive player just rolled Chad up, and we just need to stay a little bit behind him and read that, and then be able to come right back, and we go to Gerald Healing and for a touchdown pass on the corner. And Real proud of Gerald. Gerald came on strong early and had a few problems that we had to get ironed out of academic, off-field nature. And tell you what, he's a class young man and really come back. He's been working hard and deserves to catch that touchdown pass.
28-16 is the score right now, and really, with the time starting to expire in this game, Southwest Missouri had to go primarily almost with the passing attack, and every once in a while they'll throw in the draw, and you see the face mask call.
Yeah, we just, you know, it's toward the end of the game, and we got to run our feet through people and just latch on the face mask there a little bit. And you see Southwest start dropping balls. That Brad St. Louis is a great tight end, and you know, it's good to see somebody else do that stuff for a while, Chris, and press. And you know, plus, you know, we had good defensive pressure. We get a good tip and almost another pick right there.
Tell you what, the band was whooping it up all day long, and also the students that were on hand, I know that they were right in you guys' corner all day.
Yeah, you know, for a sparse crowd, they were vocal, and we appreciate that. And huge pick right here by Brian Hinton. And we thought Brian was going to go to the house right here, and Donovan's trying to get the block, and they end up knocking him out of bounds. And maybe we got to send our DBs down with the running backs and put a blocker in front of them. They'll get in the end zone. And great job by our defense getting the turnovers. And you know, again, both sides of the ball just complemented each other. We get the ball down here, and you see guys getting excited, but this thing's not over yet. We got to figure out a way. They got 2 timeouts, so we got to figure out a way to try to run this clock down. We did have to punt the ball, which I didn't want to do. And you just don't know. You talk about big plays, but this right here, that snap and that punt in this situation, Chris, that's a lot of pressure on these young guys. Andy Sisney and Kerry and the whole punt team did a super job. And now we punt it, and they get one last shot at it, and we ran it down. I believe there's about 4.5 seconds left at this point. Brian Hinton's going to come up with his second interception of the game, and as they go on the Hail Mary and throw it up the field. And I had a good view. I was just down on my knee down there on the end of it, on the end of the sideline, and watched it, and the doggone thing's over right there. So big win for our kids, and very, very happy for them. You know, celebration started right there on that interception.
Tell you what, a lot of those kids worked a lot of hard hours to get an enjoyable win like this, Coach, and it's taken a while, but they finally got one.
Yeah, it has taken a while, entirely too long for all of us, but you know, particularly satisfying, and you can't put words to that right there. You just can't do it.
Tell you what, let's put some numbers to this game.
Okay.
First of all, total yards, 428 offensive yards for this team. 85 offensive plays. Been doing this show with you for, I think, 5 years now, Coach. I think that's the most plays your team's ever run in the past 5 years. Could be wrong on that. Probably the most impressive statistic on the day, third down conversions. 12 of 19, somewhere around 65% or so. That's awesome.
It is awesome. I think up to this point we've been in the 20% on third down, Chris, and you know, we made the plays when we had to, plus we had an extra 13 minutes time of possession. You know, I think in post-game interviews you heard Brad Richardson say that how fresh they were. You know, defensively they're on the field for only 60 snaps, and there have been games this year where defense have played 40 or 50 in the first half. So that, again, both sides complement the ball, and when the defense creates turnovers and the offense creates long drives, it's a pleasure to coach. Got a lot of respect for Coach Ball and his players. They played hard and have a lot of class after the game. And I think we beat a good football team. I feel very confident of that. And you know, now we got to take that momentum, go to Tennessee Martin this next week.
We have talked many times over the last couple of weeks about how close you are, how close you are. This is what you've been talking about, guys. We're close, but we just got to take that next step.
Well, we talked a little bit about being sometimers. You know, sometimes we're pretty doggone good, and sometimes we're bad. And this week I thought we were good for 4 quarters and played very, very well. And you know, we only punted the ball twice the other day, and that's a great statistic right there. So a lot of good things to come out of this game. So we're going to be able to you know, carry that momentum. We didn't practice at all in pads this last week, which is a departure for me. I was uncomfortable with it. Very proud of our football players as they handled it well, kept up the mental intensity during the week, and you know, came out pretty fresh. And you know, first thing they asked when we got in the locker room after the game,
are we going to be in pads?
That's right. No pads, right, Coach? So I told them full pads on Monday, and they didn't buy into that. So we're going to do our best to keep them fresh, get ready for Tennessee Martin.
Coach, Tennessee Martin coming up. They are on the schneid right now. They have yet to win a game so far this season. You guys have played your best ball game of the season, but I'm sure you're going to tell them, guys, last week's win don't mean a thing if we don't go down there and show up next Saturday.
That's right. You know, you look at this, we're both in the same boat. They've won one game this year, and you know, they've struggled. So I think that, you know, we have to be cautious of that, but we're just going to enjoy this and, you know, keep it fun and keep it focused. And I think, you know, we'll go down and have a very good outing at Tennessee Martin.
Tell you what, it's not that far, and a lot of people, that was a show yesterday, a great ball game. It'll be fun. Hopefully, folks, you will be able to make the trip to Martin, Tennessee. It's not that far down the road. If not, we'll have all the highlights coming up next Sunday night at 10:30 on KBSI. For Coach John Mumford, I'm Chris Rush, and thanking you for watching.